we're looking at reforming the Electoral College the way that our president is currently elected. The main argument against our Electoral College is that it's undemocratic. We're supposed to have a democracy, but in 3 U.S. elections, the candidate that received the most votes from the American people did not win the presidency. Most recently, in 2000, as pictured here, Al Gore got more votes from the American people than George Bush, but George Bush won the presidency 271 to 266 because of our Electoral College. So how can it be changed? First of all, here's a picture that shows that maybe one of the problems with the Electoral College is just the big states control things. You can see on this teeter-totter that just a few big states outweigh the little states, but that's not really a true argument, because take what's happening in the primary. We go to Iowa first, then we go to New Hampshire, then we go to South Carolina. Small states, and the focus of the whole country is on those. So small states get their say. So this is not a good argument. One thing about the Electoral College, it's somewhat complicated. You know, not everyone understands it. And is that the best way to elect a president? And also, before we get rid of the Electoral College, we might want to think, well, why did our founding fathers do it? What's good about it? Well, one thing, as I said, it gives smaller states some importance. Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, the first 3 primaries, all America's looking at these 3 small states. So otherwise, those small states would be overlooked if we didn't have the Electoral College. It also helps candidates organize their campaigns. You know you're going to start in Iowa, then New Hampshire, South Carolina, and so that makes it easier. You don't just have the guy that wins, it's the most organized, has the best campaign, or maybe that's not the best way to elect a president. And then finally, if we didn't have the Electoral College, candidates would just go to the big cities where all the votes are. So it would just be New York, it'd be Chicago, it'd be Los Angeles, and little places, it's all these towns that candidates go to in Iowa, all these little towns. Those wouldn't be on there. So those are some good reasons for the Electoral College. But again, because it's undemocratic, the first reform that we'll mention here, so how could we change it? First idea here, just abolish it. Get rid of the Electoral College. Just elect the president by the popular vote. Simple. Except it's not simple, because you have to change the Constitution, and it's very hard to change the U.S. Constitution. Okay, second idea. Use the system that's used in 2 of the 50 states right now, Maine and Nebraska, of having congressional districts decide who wins. So if you look at the map here, you can see in Nebraska, which has 5 electoral votes, you got little circles around 1, 3, and 2. One candidate won one district, so he gets 1 vote. One candidate won 2 districts, and one won 3. So that way, instead of the winner taking all, you get 5 electoral votes because you won. Everybody gets a little piece based on how much they won. That's more fair, and that's more democratic. If we did that in all 50 states, instead of just Maine and Nebraska, there would be a more true representation of proportionality of how many votes each candidate gets, instead of the winner-take-all system we have. The final and the third possibility of reforming the Electoral College would be what's called the national popular vote idea. In this way, right now you can see the red and blue states. This was the last election. Romney won the red states. Barack Obama won the blue states. And so the electors from those states, the electors in the red states, voted for Romney when they went to vote. The electors in the blue states, where Obama won, they voted for Obama. But if you just had all the electors agree, hey, when you cast your votes for whoever won the popular vote. That way, all 50 states would all vote for the same guy. If they all agreed, instead of voting for the guy that won your state, vote for the guy that wins the country. That's the third and final reform we're suggesting here. But let's face it, reform's probably not going to happen, because the system we have sort of works, and it takes so much energy to change it, it probably won't change. But it's still good to understand how maybe you could reform the Electoral College.